All right, what do you got? What do you got? What do you got?
Double aces.
Double aces.
Dang.
I'm out. What do you got, man? What do you got?
I'm crying, man, but it's Valentine's Day, buddy. Read them in a week.
Oh,
I'm full of hearts and love, buddy.
Yeah.
Hearts and love.
Flush.
Haven't had one of those many years, gentlemen. Haven't had one of those in many years.
Damn.
Feels good.
So what do you guys think about that fantasy football?
What part of it? The controversy or
Controversy,
the
yeah.
game?
No, the controversy.
I think they're right. I think it's a game of chance, and I think it should be regulated.
You think it's a game of chance? Why do you think it's a game of chance?
Well, because you don't know the outcome of the game. And you're picking these players, and it just seems so random and
Kind of like a randomness of cards?
yeah, exactly.
Well, let me show you something.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about this. Let me show you something. We're gonna change the game to Blackjack.
Fair
All right,
enough.
we'll change the name to Blackjack, and I'm gonna show you what I think the difference between fantasy football, or DFS is what they call it, daily fantasy football, and Blackjack. We all know Blackjack is considered gambling.
Right.
All right. So let's play a little Blackjack, and let me show you the difference here.
Okay.
All right.
Bango.
So, question, starting with the player on the left. You gonna hit or stand? But before you answer that question, what's the next card?
I have no idea.
Why do you have any idea what the next card is? It's a pure chance, right?
Yeah.
The shuffle was a pure random chance.
Right.
Now, let's finish this set. I'm gonna give you a little fact about this deck of cards right here in my hand.
Well,
So, are you gonna hit or stand?
I have to hit because. Yeah. Ouch.
Hit or stand?
Stand.
All right. Dealer has 19. Dealer stands.
Okay.
Who won?
I lost. That's all I care about.
20 wins right there. So, here's the thing about Blackjack. Now that deck's going to go, now I'm down the deck, right?
Right.
So, in daily fantasy football, or in fantasy football, these cards that we just played with are going back into that deck.
Right.
You can reshuffle them up. If you go to Vegas, they use up to 6 decks.
Right. Yeah.
So, you asked
Just
about
to keep the card counters from.
my thought process. My big thing with daily fantasy and Blackjack is the sequence of cards. So, I'm going to show you history here. I'm going to lay these cards out.
Why history?
Okay, the sequence of these cards right here in this sequence.
Mm-hmm.
In order to shuffle the deck of cards and to get this sequence again, I'm gonna blow your minds. It's 80 to the 67th power. Is the next time that this deck of cards, any deck of cards, will be in this sequence. And the reason the sequence is important because that's Blackjack is played by sequence. It's the outcome of the sequence of cards that determine if you win or lose. It's the
Right.
sequence of cards that determines if you win or lose, right?
Correct.
You could say the value, but the value is just a byproduct of the sequence of cards.
Correct.
All right. So this sequence of cards you'll never see again in the history of the universe.
Yeah,
So every
that's
time-
more than the known planets and stars
That's
in
right.
the known
Planets
universe.
like 10 to the 25th or 10 to the
Yeah,
23rd.
exactly.
Something like that. So I want to show you that because the sequence of these cards right here, there's no way you can analyze these cards. So when we do this, and we flip these cards over, the 3 of spades was played last. And in Blackjack, there's no way of knowing what the sequence of the cards would be. Now, you may have a 1 in 48 chance to know what this card might be, but the sequence behind it, you won't know.
Right.
All right? So that's Blackjack. We all can agree that Blackjack is pure chance.
Correct.
Because you can't control this deck.
No, I can't.
When you go to
I can't
Vegas,
touch
when you
it.
go to Vegas, can you grab the deck and
No.
say, you know what, I want to stack it myself,
Of
dealer?
course not. You'll
Of course
be
not.
escorted out.
And you're not doing that because you're adding strategy into the game of Blackjack if you do that.
Well, but
For instance,
it's also only rules based. I know the rules of the game, but it doesn't affect how the cards come at me.
right. So
I can only say, do I want another card or not? I can't, and that's after I see the cards.
now when it comes to strategy,
okay,
you know, you can use your brain and your mind, and you can count cards if you want.
right,
It's not illegal to count cards, but a casino could throw you out because they think you're counting cards.
Correct.
But they can't arrest you for it.
Correct.
But you can't use any outside devices.
Right.
When it comes to blackjack or any other
Correct.
thing.
Because the odds are always for the house.
That's right. Now, so you brought up odds. The argument with daily fantasy and gambling has to do with not the odds, and they deem it has to do with the outcome of the events that happen on the field. You have no idea what's going to happen on the field. That's correct. We have no idea what.
Oh yeah, but I've got a good idea.
You do have a good idea, right?
Yeah, I can
Based
look
on
at
what?
based on past performance.
Based on past performances.
And knowing where the players are well and on the field, I have a good idea. I don't know for a fact, but I have a good idea of how it's going to end up.
And you can't do that with a deck of cards.
No, not even close.
Right? Total game of chance. Well, the point is this
Yes.
is a total blackjack game of chance.
Yeah.
So let's do this. So, in daily fantasy football, or fantasy football, everybody who plays daily fantasy gets their own deck of cards. There's 500 cards in this deck.
All right.
So everyone, you get a deck and you get a deck. Now you open this up
Why do we each get 500 cards?
because in daily fantasy you have a choice between the 500 players.
Oh, that's right.
There are up to 10 slots, depending on what game you play,
Yeah.
and you get to choose your
Right.
players.
Right.
Right? So you get to choose the sequence, just like in blackjack. You get to choose a sequence of cards. Blackjack, you can't do that.
Right.
So blackjack, chance. Picking your own based on strategy and skill,
Right.
you are going to stack your own deck.
'Cause
For
I'm-
instance, let's do this with blackjack.
All right.
For instance, in a deck of cards, in blackjack, the goal is to do what?
To get the highest points, or to get 21.
Which is face cards
Right.
and the ace
Or
and the 10 maybe, right?
Or up to 5 cards of numbers basically, and
So
but
if
the
you,
goal is to get to 21,
if you wanted to stack your deck like you could
or to be higher than you.
if you want to stack your deck like you could in fantasy football,
Right.
then you would pull out for yourselves your own deck of cards, right?
Of course.
So you can take that one, and you can take that. Now here's the interesting thing about fantasy football is you know exactly what's in his deck. You have an idea what could be in his deck,
Right.
and you have an idea what can be in his deck.
Because
right?
we're both going for the same highest ranked players for the most part.
That's right. You're going for the same highest ranked player. So just think that you have your aces are the highest rank, and they go down from there.
Right.
And you could use the whole deck, but most people are going to choose the best players in the league.
Right.
You can't choose the best cards. See, that's where you can't choose the best cards in a deck playing blackjack.
No.
It's pure chance.
Right.
Fantasy football, you can go and you can pull out and you can pull these out as best as you want. Now let's play blackjack with your stacked deck. Now you stacked your own deck.
Right.
And you stacked your own deck using strategy and skill based on the past performances of players.
Right.
Like we said earlier, you don't know what the deck is going to be in blackjack.
Right.
You can't stack your own deck.
Right.
So now that you stacked your own deck, so obviously
Of course we're going to do this. This is obvious. We're all going to go for
this is daily fantasy,
right.
right? So let's just say you're going to stack your deck. It's almost like playing a game of war, isn't it?
It is.
All right. So lay out your next 2 cards. What do you think?
Well, I do the exact same thing.
All right. So based on strategy and skill,
Right.
you've laid out your next. What's the next set of cards you're going to lay out?
Well, I'm going to keep doing this until I run out of aces, and then I'll do all face cards. You know.
So you're basically doing the same strategy, right?
Yes.
So what's going to come down to that last card, right?
Right.
And it's the skill and strategy of determining what that last card is, and that is truly what happened with daily fantasy
Right.
and the scandal. Basically, the employee came down to understanding what the last card in the deck was going to be, and that's all he did. He knew what your strategy. He knew what you're going to play, but in daily fantasy, it really comes down to that one key player that You're using your your skills
Mhm.
to determine if he's going to do good on that Sunday,
Gotcha.
right?
All right. Well, okay.
Makes sense. How about we shut up and deal the cards?
And we shut up and deal the card.